Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of One Question with Mr. Sharp. Today I interview the author of Breakout, Kate Messner. Hey friends, I am here at NCTE 2017 in St. Louis, Missouri with my friend Kate Messner. And I'm so excited to have her on One Question with Mr. Sharp today. And I was thinking this morning when I was walking to the convention center that I met Kate Messner in 2011 in Chicago, Illinois at NCTE. And I can still remember we were in a restaurant, like I don't know if it was a Palmer House, we were in some restaurant, there was a long table. And I had never been to a national conference. I had never really hung out with authors or anything, and I was sitting there, and like right across from me was Donald Miller, right next to me was John Shue, there was Kate Messner, there was Jenny Holm, there were like all of these amazing people, and I remember I didn't say anything. Right? I just like soaked it up, and it was just like I cannot believe that I'm sitting here with all of these amazing people in the conversation. That was just amazing. And I remember one of the things that was you and Donald Miller were talking about was you were soon to be making the tough decision to follow your dream of becoming a professional writer and stepping out of the classroom. So you've been out of the classroom now for about 6 years. And the writing career it's been amazing to watch, and it's been a joy to see the books and to go from having a couple Kate Messner books in my classroom to having a giant tub with your name on the front.
Oh, I have a tub?
You have and it's not.
Oh, that's exciting.
And we have like the tubs that are like this, that are like all like the chapter book tubs, but then we also have like the bigger tubs for picture books. And you have like the big tub and the small tub because we have like your picture books here.
Outstanding.
So you have double tub, tub 21 because author tubs are tub 21s.
Oh, I need like a bumper sticker that says I have tub 21.
And it's interesting too because I have duct tape on the front of my bins, and one color duct tape is for bins that are nonfiction, and one color duct tape is for books that are fiction. And you were one of the people who forced me to get a third color of duct tape because it is a mixture of both fiction and nonfiction. So
the rainbow duct tape writes all sorts of things.
You have a very special book bins with cool tape.
Thank you. That's exciting.
And that's changed since you visited my classroom. I didn't have the 2 bins. You've gone from 1 to 2, so congratulations. So my question is for you, Kate Messner. You've been out of the classroom for 6 years. You've been in so many schools and so many classrooms, and you've spoken at a lot of conferences, and you've talked with teachers. What is one thing that if you went back into the classroom now, 6 years later, you would be interested in trying?
Well, a couple things. Can I have a couple?
You can
have,
yeah.
There's never just
it's
one
only
thing,
one question.
right? There's never one thing.
Yeah.
I am fascinated right now by all the work that people are doing with information literacy, because I think that's so critical, and I think I'm seeing new approaches to that with information literacy with regard to raising citizens, and how do we evaluate information, and how do we decide what to share and what not to share. And I would be doing a lot with that if I were still teaching. I do some of that in my school visits anyway. And then the other thing I would do is something that I've been thinking about a lot since I worked on Breakout. Breakout's my June 2018 novel coming out with Bloomsbury, and it's about a prison break in a small town that leads to this huge manhunt that changes the way people in town see one another and the place they call home. And it's told in documents, so it's told in all kinds of different points of view. And writing in all those different points of views was absolutely fascinating to me, to really sit down and think about how different people might see the same event completely differently. And I think I would explore that. I'm actually going to be doing some writing workshops in schools this spring, when I tour for Breakout, that deal with that, that deal with writing about the same situation but from different points of view. And I think that's something else that really feeds into our democracy too, is considering different points of view and how we see the world from different perspectives.
That's interesting. We do that in class a lot when we're reading aloud. So what do you, and the really hard one for them is when we read aloud the one and only Ivan, to think about things from Mac's point of view. Yeah. It's really like, why is Mac like this? And you're saying you want kids to try like writing from that point of view, or writing from the same story from different points of view.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be gained by that, or even writing from considering a perspective that you have and then asking kids to argue against their own beliefs, you know, and to say, if this is what you believe, what are some reasons that people might feel differently, and what kind of background might somebody have that would cause them to feel differently about that. So I think empathy is just so important right now, and when we can consider where somebody else is coming from, I think we can learn a lot. And I feel like writing in those different voices is a really interesting way to explore that.
Because that is something we're struggling at as a society right now.
I think
looking
so.
At things from other people's point of view. And maybe we never learned that. Maybe we missed that. I don't know.
We don't have the best role models in some of our leadership positions right now when it comes to that. But I think that makes the job bigger for the rest of us, is to kind of model that and to talk about empathy, especially for people whose lives have been different from yours.
What question do you have for our friends watching? What do you want to know?
So I have a favorite question. I gave a TED Talk in 2012, and the best part of that, I was terrified to give my talk, but the best part of it was that I got to hear everybody else's talks, and they were amazing people.
Bill Nye.
Yeah, Bill Nye. Rahina Dugan was the woman who was the director of the DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, started her talk in 2012 by saying, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And her whole talk was about the engineers she works with at DARPA and the amazing projects they have, these robots that fly like hummingbirds. But she also talked about how often they fail and how people at DARPA fail all the time, and it's part of the job. But we don't always welcome that in our own lives, and it makes us afraid to take risks. So I think my question for viewers is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do?
I instantly go to sports. I instantly go to sports. But I know that if I thought about it, I would go somewhere else. I would probably go with writing a novel. But like instantly I'm thinking it has something to do with like sports. I don't know. Climbing a mountain? I don't know. But I'm sure at the end it would have something to do with creating something. Friends, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Feels like they should probably do that. Whatever their answer is.
Yeah.
Like
and
they should
let us
actually
know how
like
it goes.
answer the question, but then maybe they should think of like actually doing that. Like in real life.
So I'll be excited to see that novel.
Yeah. Ha! Thank you so much for watching. Before I get in more trouble, have a good day. Happy reading. Friends, thank you so much for watching. Kate Messner, thank you so much for making books for kids. It means the world to us as educators. You make our jobs so much better. You make the lives of our children so much fuller. Thank you. You are fantastic. Friends, let's answer Kate Messner's question. She gave us one question. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan, and he always talks about how you have one life and you are going to die. So you need to make the most of it. So what would you do? Leave a comment. We want to know. Put it out there, and then go live that dream. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and happy reading.
Sing to me, we'll start in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.